The contents of this interview, or from Awake and Empowered Expo LLC from Ethan Fox and Flower of Life Center for Human Evolution, is for informational purposes only and does not necessarily reflect the viewpoints held by these organizations or individuals. Always consult with your doctor or health professional before making any changes to your diet, lifestyle, or prescription drug use. Please understand that you assume all responsibility and risk for the use or misuse of this information.
We are pleased to begin. Ninth Dimensional Lemurian Ascension Collective, and we are pleased to address this assembly as there are many who are also assisting in this time that are standing in a congruent energy of this facilitated message. We want to start today by allowing all of you to understand that there has been a recent integrative shift, and we want to explain that. We know that many of you have been hearing much about this integrative shift of energy, and it is one that is still balancing upon your collective race. The reason for this, my friends, is there are many who are standing at different rates of consciousness or different speeds or frequencies of energy. And as we go through this message today, you will be very clear on where you stand as well within this integrative process. So first, I want to begin by allowing you to understand that there are a series of energetic adjustments that are coming within a 6-month time period. These energetic adjustments are aligned with the calendar times of solar energies. These solar energies are important because in essence what they are doing is they are balancing the magnetism or the polar energies or the speed of energies between the poles of your planetary being, Mother Gaia. This magnetism, in essence, is forcing a shift or a rate of speed within your DNA genetic strand. We want to explain that your DNA genetic strand is, in essence, an energy body that is connective to a one consciousness. So think of it this way. You're an individual and unique soul, yes? And as an individual and unique soul, you have a genetic predisposition to dimensional reality. Many of you, we would say, are standing within a fourth dimensional DNA genetic space. In this fourth dimensional space, there is an integrative process taking place. You are well aware that you have many aspects of your physical being that are non-physical, yes? You have an emotional body, you have a spiritual body, you have a mental body, and of course, you have a manifestation of a physical entity that is holding all of this space for you. In this fourth dimensional space we speak of, you are beginning to integrate the awareness of these non-physical parts of your being. We are going to focus for a moment on your spiritual body and how it's connected to the access portal of this recent planetary alignment or shift. There is an aspect of your soul that we would call the designated higher self. The designated higher self is not only unique to you, because many of you believe that your higher self holds very unique information to who you are, and yes, it does. But your higher self, you see, is the connective part of you to the one soul, or the oversoul we would call it, which is the one being or the one source. As such, it is the means by which you access multidimensional information. Many of you are aware that your soul is multidimensional in nature, meaning it is not only expressing itself in this current physical incarnation that you're standing within in this moment. It's also expressing itself outside of this dimension in many other aspects of who you are. The higher self, in essence, is taking all of the information from those expanded points of your energy field and merging them together into a one body, a one being of energetic creation. What this means, my friends, is you often on this planetary space look at the time that you have in years of this incarnation and say, I have not achieved what I was meant to achieve, or I do not know my purpose or my mission, so I am running out of time here. And we would say this is a false notion. And in essence, this idea is placing a resistant or a creative energy, a resistant energy around your creative energy, we should say, because it is holding you in a space of lower vibration. What we want you to realize is the work that you are doing in this physical incarnation is an assembly of all of the aspects of who you are multidimensionally, and it is purposeful in that framework. Many of you are familiar with timelines or aspects of multidimensional time, and you have many because your soul is sitting upon a timeline of constructive connection to the one soul, which is all of it. It is past, it is future, it is present, it is happening all within the same space. So think of it this way. If your assignment in this time, you have come to realize, is that you are a healer, and the healing work you are doing is one of the physical body. And you may be thinking to self, well, if we are moving into a fifth dimensional energy, which is non-physical, perhaps my healing work is not of use in this time, or perhaps I need to expand my horizons to healing work that is outside of the physical arena. What we ask you to realize is that the physical healing work you may be doing in this timeline is also assisting the aspects of self on many other timelines that are also healing. Think of it as a one being coming to you for that healing that is also multidimensional in nature. So the healer in you in this incarnation may be working on the physical level, while the healer in you in another incarnation is working on the mental body, or in even a separate timeline is working on the spiritual body. But back to the spiritual body, that was the engagement for this communication. There is a deep connection of the spiritual body to the higher self. And that is the integration that is going on right now through the most recent planetary alignment. In essence, what happened there, my friends, is your DNA genetic strand was upgraded through an acceptance of a new energy. Have you accepted that energy? We would say, yes, you have. Has everyone within your race or species accepted that new energy? We would say, well, no, because there are some who are not willing, and it is their free will choice to accept of these energies. What would be the basis for this? It would be, my friends, the understanding that there are many who are standing within a lower rate of speed based on a lower vibrational access of their energy field. So in this time, Lightworkers must understand that if you have accepted these energies, you are now undergoing a transformation. And this transformation is a connection of your spiritual body to the higher self. How is this manifesting for you? Well, this would be very unique to your own individual path and structure. But in general, we would like to define it as a better understanding or a tapping into of multidimensional information of the self. The reason we say this is so ingrained in the spiritual body is it is causing quite a shift or a notion of awakening in many Lightworkers in this time as they are accessing past, present, and future aspects of self. And in accessing those past, present, and future aspects of self, you have no choice but to integrate the spiritual body. Many of you may be feeling as if there is a notion coming forward or a feeling coming from your inner selves of change. And that change is the level of frequency that you have accepted through this planetary alignment. Now, as you have accepted these energies, you must also understand that comes with an outer change. Because you are still a three-dimensional physical being going through a transition here. Yes, you are more non-physical than you are physical, but in essence, you wished to be a part of this physical three-dimensional planet. And as such, you knew that your creative energy would manifest in solid state and form. So as your frequency has shifted and the spiritual body is beginning to integrate, your cue or clue to knowing that this is happening for you is the shifts or the manifestations in your physical world. Let us give you some examples. Many of you are seeing outer shifts of friends and family members and relationships that are changing. Many of you have been moving from homes or changing geographic location. Some of you have been feeling stirrings within your soul through the spiritual body of a new line or path of work that you know you must pursue. Those of you that have been on that path or in line with that connection to Source are now receiving new information by which to expand that path and perhaps even take it in a new direction. The problem here, my friends, is when your outer world begins to shift in this way, the emotional body, which is also integrating through this alignment, causes you many problems. And we want to discuss that now. The emotional body, in essence, is the source regulator. It is the resonant energy by which you manifest into your physical reality all of the things that you see, have, and feel within your physical world. You were given the mental body to construct energy into logical thought and create in a 3D dimension. But the emotional body, my friends, is the active portal by which you engage your vibratory stance to fall in line with Source and manifest the things that are needed to fulfill all that your higher self knows is going on multidimensionally in your plan or your record. So, if things are beginning to fall away, because the spiritual body is now integrating with what that higher self knows it is accessing, but the emotional body wraps a vibration of fear around the things that are beginning to fall away. You have now chosen an energy that is incongruent to this very gift that you wish to receive. The DNA genetic strand has been engaged, it has been upgraded, yet you've decided not to go. You've decided not to go because you've placed a resistant energy around the aspects of your world that are now integrating through your physical being. So when things begin to drop away, my friends, we understand that it is difficult in the physical world because there is a part of your sacral that resonates with home, that resonates with comfort and knowing what is next and knowing what will be here for me in the future. But where you are headed is fifth dimensional, my friends. So we want to explain that a bit as well before we allow you to understand how to break this resistant energy of emotion. In the fifth dimensional reality, you may choose the timeline by which you wish to access. Meaning, past, present, and future no longer serve the same definition. So in the fifth dimension, is it important to you that you hold on to your relationships as they currently stand? Imagine this. You could have those relationships and you could choose another that was more serving to you. Or, in fact, you could, within the same day, experience both of these relationships as they are beneficial to your own highest good. If you knew in the fifth dimensional reality that you could choose your own timeline based on whichever dimensional reality was most pleasing to you in the moment, we ask you, would you hold a resonant energy of fear regarding this, knowing all of your energy bodies were working congruently to manifest through your higher self? Well, of course, my friends, your emotional body would not need to hold that fear. But in this time, human beings were structured through the nervous system and the extrasensory to be connected to the emotional body as a vibratory stance, as a connection to source, and by which your creative energy manifests for you. So if you are holding a resonant energy of fear to this new integrative process that is showing up for you in your physical reality, you are blocking the very gifts that are on their way. The very gifts that your higher self knows you are not only entitled to, but looking very forward to. The ones that your very soul planned collectively before you transitioned into this physical body you find yourself standing in today. So imagine now releasing the fear of that emotional body and bringing it back on board with a higher vibrational emotion that is more stable and suiting to who you are. There is a clearing process, my friends, in the physical reality that must take place. The reason for this is energy is always cyclical and moving and changing and neutralizing within your field. Nothing can stay constant. Human beings often love to feel the constantness of this platform they stand on that is concrete and not moving. Well, my friends, if that were the case, you would never create with your energy. And all of the things you're manifesting in your physical world would not serve you or the universal collective. The plan that you made before you transitioned into this physical body was a remembrance that you are one with it all, that you would accept new energies and know that they were taking you through an ascension process by which you would feel the joy, the love, the peace, and the freedom of ushering in a new dimensional reality on this very living, breathing being that you stand upon. And that new dimensional reality is one that is well overdue, we would say, but very possible. So where you stand now with all of this, is that you must have patience with yourselves as physical beings. You must know that through the most recent planetary alignment we speak of, that was solar engaged and connective connective from a magnetism point of view. What they want to further explain is there was a shifting in the poles of the magnetism of your mother being. Know that that new frequency that you're currently holding is not yet integrated in many of you. And that integrative process is allowing you to incorporate the spiritual body and integrate it with the higher self. Through this integration, you are also opening up a portal access to communication. And we want to talk about this for a moment because we know that many of you are receiving this very communication and also placing a resistant energy around it. There is a purpose for the Ascension plan as specified in a race of beings that have collectively come together to engage this plan or create this plan with your assistance. And there is a genetic basis for this plan, and it is being engaged in a very orderly fashion, meaning there are logical steps that must take place for each of you. The most recent engagement of energy was designed to open a new access portal of communication. That communication is non-physical in nature, meaning you are now allowing an access to universal energies. This may be showing up for many of you at different rates of speed or frequency based on where your soul currently resides. Some of you are accessing this communication in pictures. We would say some of you are accessing this communication in words or symbols. Pay very close attention, my friends, to patterns in your environment or patterns in your world, whether they be numbers, whether they be signs, or whether they be animals, whether they be nature. These are very important because they're allowing you to recognize the new genetic code that you're holding. Is it important for you to decipher what that code is? No. It's just important for you to accept that this communication is now accessible through you. Again, we want to direct your attention to the emotional body around this communication, because we would say many of you may even be receiving automatic writings. You may be receiving dream state messages. You may be receiving sight of incarnate beings. You may be also stepping into alternative realities, meaning past, present, and future aspects of self. Some of you are accessing this in your waking hours, we would say, even in the midst of driving a car or walking through the park. This, my friends, is your integration process showing up for you in your physical reality. The patterns, the numbers, the animals, the dimensional realities, all of these things are giving you proof, if you must have it, that you are now shifting and changing, and that you are now stepping into a higher dimensional reality. The purpose through which this integration is taking place is for your unique soul, as unique as it is, to connect to your own specific guides, teachers, masters, or unique consciousness that you have a direct genetic link to, or a plan with, or an assignment with, we would say. Let us give you an example. Some of you are Lemurian beings, as we are also, meaning that you hold Lemurian genetics. There are many Lightworkers on this planet who hold a specific engagement to the Lemurian DNA genetic, and we would call them master healers in this time. Many of you who are of this nature may be connecting to our own consciousness and receiving information. It may be direct in terms of messages, or it may be the very pieces of the puzzle or bits of information that you needed to complete your work or shift your work into a new state. Maybe the answers you were waiting for to engage your new aspect of self or to assist another. Those of you who are holding this DNA genetic would notice that your light work is beginning to change. Some of you are holding a direct communication to angelic presence, which is much needed in this time, because the angelic and archangel presence upon this planet is one of great light and support and shift of frequency. There are many who are not awakening to their higher selves and who are not holding a higher light, who are in need of that communication, whether you're receiving it directly or whether it is just engaging your energy field and you are bringing it out into the world. It makes no difference. As unique as you are as a being is as unique as that communication is coming to you. It is not up to you to decipher why or how. It is only up to you to receive. This is where we want to stress. Do not make this so difficult in your human world. Because oftentimes when you are trying to figure it all out, we would say, you're also placing that resistant energy of frustration in the emotional body that, again, is allowing you to create a lower vibrational stance that is not serving you. Frustration, anger, fear within the emotional body, they're all resistant energies that hold you back from going down that path, from fully accepting those new energies that were given to you through this recent alignment. And as you have accepted them, as we know that you all have, all that is needed now is that the emotional body balance and fall back in line with Source. And we know that many of you are asking, how do I do this? In this very difficult time, in my physical reality, when things are beginning to crumble and fall away, and that very concrete beneath my feet is cracking, how is it that I am supposed to go back to aligning with Source through the emotional body? We would say one simple thing. That is by accessing your highest amount of joy on a daily basis. Through your access of joy, regardless of whether that joy is connected to your mission or your assignment or anything you're meant to do, that's not the point here. The joy just needs to come. It doesn't have to be connected to any definition of who you are or what you have become or where you're going. Many of you are waiting to feel that joy because you're waiting to get there. You're saying, when I get there, I will feel the joy. The mission will bring me joy. The purpose will bring me joy. You're missing the point. The joy comes on the path. The joy comes from the small things that you allow within your energy field. You will notice if you allow joy in every day in small and insignificant ways, that your energy body of emotion is now falling in line with who you are, which is Source energy. When that happens, my friends, and you have accepted this new planetary alignment, engaging the higher self and the spiritual body, you can only imagine, once that clearing process takes place and the concrete underneath your feet crumbles away, what you will see next. A beautiful stream, a beautiful river, a new place to plant your feet that is beautiful and waiting and aligned specifically with you. You as the individual and you as the collective being that incarnated into this physical body with a one soul and a one plan. That, my friends, is where you are headed, as this fifth dimensional energetic transition is still taking place.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. We have some questions from the audience. Mm-hmm. First, can you explain what dimensions are? Are they just simply connecting to higher frequencies?
Well, we would say that is correct, but we would add to that definition, as there are many dimensional levels within the universal field, and some that you are very aware of. As we have mentioned previously, you are standing within a fourth dimensional space. The difference in dimensional realities is very unique based on the reality you're stepping into, and we will give some examples. The fourth dimensional reality is an integrative space by which you are a physical being that is integrating your non-physical self. The changes that take place within this dimensional reality as a fourth dimensional being from a third dimensional being is that your manifestation process becomes more active, easy, and expedited, we would say, when you are in alignment with your emotional body, as mentioned previously. The fifth dimensional reality is a bit different in that your manifestation process changes again. Your manifestation comes from the multidimensional awareness of who you are as a being that is past, present, and future, and the acceptance of multiple timelines as congruent to self. The sixth dimensional energy is another integrative space by which you are beginning to access new portals of universal information. So, as different as these dimensional realities are, the one common point that we would mention is that in each dimensional reality, the access to information is expanded and the creative energy is able to be used differently. This is why you are here. You see, you're here to create through your energy. You're here to expand the universe. You are here to connect with it all. So in every dimensional reality, the goal is creation through the energy body. But how that creation takes place in each dimensional level is unique to its own self. We would say there is no limit to the number of dimensions that can be created within this universe. We would say currently the level of dimensional reality that has been created through higher level beings is a 13th dimensional reality. And within that 13th dimensional reality, there is a light body or a light being that is transient, that is one, that is a one soul, a one consciousness, and is very unique in its energy because it is a one energy. Think of it this way. The difference between the 13th dimensional energy and the third dimensional energy is the amount of separateness and physicality of nature. Will there be a 14th dimensional reality? We would say it is already in progress because as the creative energy is flowing into the universal space, dimensional realities are expanded each day. And the expansion of those dimensional realities is the basis of the creative energy of the beings that are holding those spaces. Meaning, there are 12th dimensional beings that are now integrating into a 13th dimensional reality. Will they be stuck there? Well, no, my friends, because all of you who are creating on this dimensional reality are serving all of the others. It's an expansive process by which all beings benefit. The genetics of many races are benefited by your joyous expansion of energy. And that is how these dimensions are formed. Your genetics hold a very specific connection to dimensional reality. Your DNA strands are energetic in nature. Many would say that human beings are holding 3 strands of DNA because they are standing within a third dimensional reality. We would agree with this statement, but we would say that you must consider the fact that there are many beings upon your planet who are ascending and expanding of self, who are stepping into alternate realities as well. So are there human beings within your collective that are 9th dimensional in nature? We would say, oh yes, there most certainly are. Are they able to congruently hold that 9th dimension on this physical space of planet Earth? We would say not congruently, because the 9th dimensional reality is one of a singular consciousness, of a one connective space. And that is not what is being held here. What is being held here is the dominant DNA genetic strand of your race, or the dominant energetic creation of your race, or the dominant consciousness of your race. It is not to say that it is specific to every being, we would say. Now, in saying this, we also want to give another message. And I'm receiving 12th dimensional Pleiadian access for this message. What we want to tell you is it is very easy for you to forge a one consciousness and hold the dimensional reality that you wish to hold on this planet. Many of you think it is hopeless, and it is very difficult because the bulk of your human consciousness is standing at such a low rate of speed. We would say light workers are here to shift that reality through their very DNA genetic energy. The more of you that hold a higher DNA genetic strand and accept it, the more expansive this planetary's energy becomes. And as you are moving toward a fifth dimensional reality, you are engaging an opening of the heart chakra. The heart chakra is the key by which you connect a one consciousness and hold it together. And that is where you are headed. And it is possible, we would say.
When we come to a crossroads in our life, how do we know what direction to go?
Oh, this is a very popular question amongst light workers these days, we would say, because of the concrete slab we had brought forward in the previous message that is now crumbling for you. Yes, there are many paths that are opening for you now, and we want you to recognize that those many paths are your multidimensional nature. We want to discuss free will choice here because many of you struggle with the resistant energy of feeling as if you have a choice as to which path to take, and whether your yes or no answer is really mattering in the big scheme of things. And what we would say is the path itself that you choose matters not. You may be given two ways to go, and let us put this in concrete physical terms for you. And let us say you are offered an opportunity, and this is a new opportunity of your mission, and you were given a choice. You could go to Los Angeles or you could go to Boston. And within your physical being, you are analyzing these two paths and looking at them financially and looking at them as in terms of relationships and what would be the best climate and what would be the most friendly area for you to live. And as you are weighing out all of those things, we ask you to understand that you are bringing all of your attention into the mental body. You were taught that the mental body is the focus by which you make decisions, which is in essence your free will choice. We would say this is not in line with how you were structured or how you were created. We're going to take you back to the nervous system and the emotional body here for a moment and allow you to understand that as long as you stay in alignment with Source, your choices do not matter. Because now, my friends, in alignment with Source, there is no choice but for you to receive all of the things that you must manifest in order to fulfill your assignment or your purpose as specified by the one soul who is you, who came into this physical body through this incarnation. If you are worrying about the choices in the mental body, all you are doing is allowing the mental body to lead. And when the mental body leads, all it does, my friends, is create a resistant energy of emotion because it was not meant to be in that place within your energy body. If you allow the energy body of emotion and the nervous system to connect to Source and be your guide, the mental body is given to you to take that creative energy and make it concrete. Meaning you will be led to Boston through that nervous system and that emotional body and through that sense of joy and creative energy. And when you get there, the mental body is able to access the plan for you. The plan is not created in the mental body. The plan is showed to you by your energetic frequency or your vibration of emotion. So do you need to choose A or B? Well, eventually we know that you will. But you must make that choice based on alignment with Source and not focusing in the mental body.
Can you give us some more information on this clearing process that's taking place?
Yes. The clearing process, in essence, is your physical body adjusting to the new frequency that you hold. Magnetically, if you are to think of it in terms of an actual magnet, my friends, You must attract the frequency that you hold. You must attract through which your creative energy is served through the frequency that you hold. The things that are beginning to fall away, or we have called it a clearing process, is essentially the macrocosm of the microcosm here. We said there was a shift in the poles of magnetism of your Mother Earth Gaia planet. In that shift of poles, there had to be a process by which a new frequency was created. Energy is always being neutralized, you see. So often we think of lower vibration and higher vibration. We think of good and bad. In the universal collective, energy is neutral, meaning it is just expansive. So we are putting energy in, and that energy is being neutralized. It is always being neutral, congruent to the vibration that is held. So if that is the case, imagine how your physical body has just gone through a transformation and is now holding a new frequency. That new frequency is ready to now attract magnetically for you all of the new things that you are requiring through your DNA genetic and your higher self, and all of the things you are accessing through the one soul that are congruent to your mission. Where the clearing process is necessary is there is an energy that you are holding to the things that you are not clearing. Let us put it this way. You are knowing now that there are things within your physical world that need to be cleared. The concrete slab is no longer serving you. It is feeling uncomfortable beneath your feet. Yes, that feeling of uncomfortable is your nervous system. It is your emotional body. It is giving you a message. It's telling you, I do not belong here any longer. Yet you hold a resistant energy to keeping those things. And when we speak of a clearing process, we're not saying you must X those things tomorrow, because we know that would cause much discomfort and would most definitely affect the emotional body from a place of fear. We're saying let go energetically. We're saying allow the mind to let go of the emotion wrapped around that concrete slab. It's okay if the concrete slab is there for a little while. But very slowly and very calculatingly, pay very close attention to how your energy body is holding on to the pieces of that concrete slab that your emotional body now knows does not serve you any longer. When you do that, the concrete slab itself, or the things that make up that concrete slab, will very easily fall out of your life and effortlessly shift and change for you, because you are now no longer holding a resistant energy to them. So we speak of a clearing process, we speak of you clearing energy, and that energy is resistant and lower vibrational in nature, and it is attached to things within your physical reality that are no longer serving the new frequency that you hold.
How do we determine our soul's purpose?
Well, my friends, your soul's purpose is multidimensional. So it would be difficult to say in this physical reality that you would access that entire assignment or plan. But you all have an awareness of who you believe you are through your creative energy. And this is what we want to talk about as your purpose. We feel as if human beings in this time, with this spiritual body integration especially, are getting very wrapped up again in a resistant energy around their purpose or their mission, and finding that specific thing that they are meant and supposed to do. We would ask you to let go of that definition of I must, I should, I have to, I was meant to, and I must understand. And connect more to who you are as a unique being and your feelings associated with who you are as a unique being. The things that bring you joy are your purpose. The areas of your being, or the things that are showing up for you that are giving you curiosity right now, are the things that ignite in you who you are. Your only purpose in this time, through this very special integration that you are walking in this very moment, is to see the things that you are wanting through the curiosity that is enveloping within you. Again, we are going to redirect you to the emotional body every time through this current planetary alignment, because it is your key. If it is something that is not pleasing to your emotional body and is not bringing you joy, it is not meant to be on your path. Now, could something as small as caring for pets bring you joy? Yes, you think that is small. You think that could not possibly be my purpose, caring for pets. If it brings you joy, it may be a part of your purpose that you must consider. A purpose in this time does not have to be mighty and great. As Lightworkers, you are all meant to hold and carry a vibration. That vibration as a conduit to this living, breathing Mother Earth Gaia is what is healing. The healing that you are doing is reconnecting a one human consciousness as a one body, a one soul through the heart chakra. In order to do that, my friends, you must all hold a higher vibration. Now, does that mean that you don't have a specific assignment or a purpose and aren't supposed to go out and do your healing work? Well, of course not, my friends. We just ask that that healing work that you're doing always be in line with the highest amount of joy, and that you're always checking in with the emotional body. Because if your healing work is causing you stress in this time, and you are looking at your healing work and saying, I must, I should, I don't think it's right, I'm running out of time here, that is where we would say you must pause and go back to basics. The basics being, I must pay attention to my emotional body in every circumstance in my incarnate life. And in paying close attention to the emotional body and how it is aligning with your every action, you will find your mission and purpose. You have to, because all of the parts of it are there within your energy field. And keep in mind that parts of you multidimensionally are also serving this purpose as well. So will you receive all of the pieces of the puzzle in this current lifetime? Well, perhaps not. If you don't, will that cause you to not feel joy? That is your free will choice. But if you choose that route, my friends, know that you will not be fulfilled as a being, and you will not fulfill your mission and your purpose, which is essentially to serve yourself, and then through that joy and expansive creative energy, serve others.
How can we remove more evil and create a more positive world?
Well, my friends, you are well on your way, we would say, but this is a long story for us to describe as how your planet has gotten so backwards. But we wish to explain to you that, yes, there is a lower vibrational entity or consciousness that has taken hold of this Mother Earth breathing, living planet, and there is a space within this planetary energy by which there is an access portal that is being engaged on a daily basis, that this consciousness is acting through. And as such, there are many human beings that are holding this vibration and are kept in a resistant state through this vibration. In essence, the way by which these entities and this lower vibrational consciousness is disengaged is through the engagement of a one human soul, a one human consciousness, through the engagement of the heart chakra. You are headed in this direction. This is where you are going in the fifth dimension. This is why we say this is a very pivotal time upon your planet and within your timeline, because in a fourth dimensional transient state, you are preparing for this new energetic creation where you will hold the consciousness of a one. When you hold the consciousness of a one being, anything is possible, as long as the consciousness of that one being is a high frequency of resonant energy. The light beings, or the light workers upon this planet in this time, who are receiving of these genetic shifts through planetary energies, are serving the forging of this one consciousness through the heart chakra. And as this continues, you will begin to see shifts and changes. Now, we want to bring to your attention, because we have said this in previous communications, that the awakening process is one by which is tied to frequency and energy. Frequency and energy that is created through the emotional body. So we ask you to keep in mind that as human beings are beginning to awaken through this one consciousness or one soul, there will be those who are expressing karmic energies of anger, fear, and frustration when they are to realize that this planetary being was hijacked from them. It was taken and essentially changed genetically. That energy must express. And as it expresses, Lightworkers will see more of it, meaning the outer world is not going to reflect the inner changes you wish to see made until this karmic energy is released and resolved. That's why we have been saying consistently in our messages to many that Lightworkers will be walking a difficult and karmic period in the next 1.5 to 2 years, because during this time period, the karmic energy that is being released by those human beings who are awakening to their planetary being hijacked from them must attract a magnetic component. That magnetic component is going to be more struggle. It is going to be showing up for you as lower vibrational energy. So take this as a sign, my friends, that even though your eyes are not seeing the changes you wish to be made, that the energies are resolving. We would say within a 5-year time period, there is going to be quite a shift in the institutions upon your planet. And understand, if those shifts were to be made today, they could not hold here the way that the energies on this planet are currently. Because this one consciousness we speak of must hold those energies in place. And that one consciousness has not been forged yet. But it is coming. It is coming within the 5th dimensional reality.
Will the cure for cancer or AIDS ever become public?
Well, my friends, there are many what you would call cures going on upon your planetary space, but this is a word we would not choose, because in the 5th dimensional reality, we would say human beings are headed towards a dimensional reality of self-healing. Think of it this way. As we have mentioned previously, in the 5th dimension, you are able to choose the timeline that you wish to experience. This is because the emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual bodies have been integrated as one. They are no longer separate. So, if there's a physical manifestation of illness in the body, the reason for this is this lack of integration. Meaning, if there's a lower vibration that is not serving you in the emotional body, and now you're placing a mental focus on that emotional aspect of self, and in essence, you've created a resistant energy now around this emotion or this frequency, and your entire being now succumbs to this frequency, there is an attraction of energy that must match it. And that attraction of energy is going to manifest in the physical body. Why? Because you have chosen to be physical. You are 3-dimensional, in essence, 3-dimensional genetic beings. What we will say is that many of the structures and the institutions regarding health upon your planet will fail and will be reconstructed in a new way. And that new way is going to be based on prana and chi and energetic reality, not on lower vibrational chemical means, not on the aspect of being taught about the physical body, but on the teachings of healing through the integration of the one soul, meaning the one consciousness, not the separate being as defined by a physical ailment. We would say the timeline for this change will be within the next, It is difficult for us to give a specific year. And the reason we say this is there are many outlying factors regarding this ascension timeline that are being accessed currently. But we will give you a range because we will say within the next 5 to 10 years, many of these institutions will be completely turned around and renewed. Now, does that mean some of the techniques that you are seeing come in that are more energetic based will not be given to the human consciousness prior? We would say no. And there are many now that are light frequency based, that are energy frequency based. Some that we would say are even based on the frequency of water. All of these practices are good interim tools that we would say bridge the gap between where you are currently and the fifth dimensional reality. Those tools, again, even though they are brought in and used by select groups of human beings, have not held in a larger frequency or a larger group of consciousness because, yes, there is not that one connective source through the heart we've spoken of earlier. But many of these mechanisms will be used in the meantime and will come into a larger awareness as more of the human population begins to awaken to new frequencies.
How do we connect with a sister or brother who is constantly challenging us with ego grandstanding and causing detachment with other siblings?
Well, the very acknowledgement of this attachment in you is an egoic stance, we would say. So you have to be careful to watch where you are holding your energy regarding this situation. The only way to resolve something in the outer physical world with another human being who is at a lower rate of frequency than yourself is to turn away from the situation, we would say, and focus inward on your own reality. The best way to handle these situations is to not involve the emotional body for 2 reasons, we would say. When you enter a state where you are engaging in an argument or a lower vibrational interaction, we would say, not only are you creating through your energy at a lower rate of speed, you must understand that the heart chakra in itself, even though we are saying you are not connected through it as a one consciousness, as a unique individual soul, the heart chakra is always trying to regulate to the heart chakra of another. It is always trying to regulate to the frequency of Mother Earth Gaia. It is always reaching out in this way. Many people call that an empathic nature. We call it the way that you were structured or the way that you were built. It is the first point of access by which you balance your frequency. So imagine an interaction such as this that may be egoic or may be causing you harm. And now you are raising your emotional body to a frequency of anger and fear that is causing within you an engagement of the heart chakra to this person as well. There is an exchange that happens here. And in that exchange, there is a frequency that is matched. So if this human being and this individual is at a lower rate of frequency than you are, you're always trying to raise them, yes, to your frequency level. But it cannot be done if you are standing at an equal spot to their own frequency or vibration. We would say the best course of action is to release the resistant energy you are holding around this circumstance and turn yourself to a new focus. That focus being joy, that focus being your own creative energy. The only way, my friend, that you can change in others what you wish to see in the world is to change it within yourself and live it, you see. Because in living it, not only are they receiving that vibration now through your interaction of the heart chakra, they are also seeing that example in someone who they feel they have connected with in their physical world for great purpose. Even though on a subconscious level they know this, perhaps they do not know it in their physical reality, it's always equaling, it's always balancing, and it is always applicable. So our best course of action for you, again, we would say, is paying very close attention to the emotional body.
What should we do when we're no longer connected to a family member, parent, or loved one, and we no longer wish to try to fix that relationship, is it our responsibility to keep trying?
There is no responsibility here, we would say. There is only paying attention to your own feelings and nervous system, again, around this situation. You must pay close attention to how your energy is creating for you. We would say that in this circumstance, there is an undertone of the emotion of guilt, meaning I have allowed this person to step out of my life because it was beneficial in some way, meaning there was an energy that was not congruent, that was difficult, that was harming to my energy field. But now I am holding a resistant energy of guilt, as in I haven't tried enough, or I should have, or I could have, or maybe I should. This emotion is coming straight from the mental body, as previously mentioned. Here is how you know the difference, my friends. We often speak of the heart as a human consciousness, and the heart is associated with love. If you are feeling from the highest place of love that you wish to re-engage in an interaction with this family member that was driven from or asked to leave from your life, and you know that your intention that you are holding is for the highest good of the result of this connection, that would be the place by which to forge an action. However, if your emotions around this situation are coming from a lower vibrational stance of guilt, shame, fear, that is never the place by which to forge an action. And that, we would say, my friends, goes in every circumstance. Taking action from a lower vibrational place of fear, guilt, shame, or frustration is not congruent with being aligned with Source. Any actions that come from alignment with Source come from the highest place of intent and love for that other person and for self. And that is the place by which we would say you should create an energetic reaction.
Is what is referred to as junk DNA simply dormant qualities in our genes that have not yet activated? And if so, are those being activated during this time of transition? And what possible results will that manifest for us as human beings?
Yes, we could answer this question collectively as well as singularly. So we will start collectively. And by no means, my friends, are there any DNA genetic strands within your genetic makeup that are worthless or not there for great purpose. And as such, as human beings were created in the likeness of a 12-strand DNA, there was a time upon your planet by which human beings were using all of these DNA genetic strands you speak of in a sense of oneness, a sense of light, being connected to all of universal energy and knowledge. That was the goal here, you see. Those DNA genetic strands were deactivated or taken away from you through many dimensional wars and through a lower vibrational consciousness that is now, we would say, quite prevalent upon your planet. These DNA genetic strands, through an ascension process that is a universally based energetic notion, we would call it, or plan, are being systematically re-engaged. Could we, as a collective race, re-engage all 12 strands of your DNA genetic in one planetary alignment? Well, yes, of course. There could be an energetic force of nature by which that could happen. That could most certainly be created. But that would not be feasible here, because many would not be able to integrate that portion of new genetic basis or information in such a short period of time. Think of it this way, my friends, the integrative process you are going through now and the concrete slab we keep mentioning to you that is crumbling at your feet, and how your physical reality would shift and change. So yes, there are alignments of planetary energies, of solar energies, as well as many races of beings who are assisting this process, who are engaging an energetic rebirth of sorts as reconnection to your DNA genetic strand and illuminating that DNA genetic strand. This is a process by which will take many millenniums, we would say, in order to change your planetary being back to its original nature. We want to also discuss that individually, this process is quite different because, as mentioned previously, there are many human beings upon this planet that hold a 7th, a 9th, even a 12th dimensional DNA genetic. Many of these can be hybrid beings, we would say, who have come to your planet to assist. Many of these are human beings who have ascended into an alternative dimension based on their own self-work and their acceptance of new energies through portal access of their own being. Many souls have come with expanded DNA genetic as evolved souls in order to serve in this time. There are even specific alignments to assist those beings as unique as they are. And some beings are receiving upgrades very individual to their own request, we would say. It's all within your own power. Now, holding a 12-strand DNA as an individual being does not mean you are always stepping into a 12th dimensional reality on this planetary space. That would, as mentioned previously, be quite impossible. We will give you an example. There are some humans upon your planet who experience visitation, who experience connection with races of beings outside of this planetary space. Does that mean they are picked up and taken into a new planetary space that they are now living within for a short period of time? We would say no. What is happening here is they are stepping into that 12th-strand DNA genetic for a period of time and accessing that communication, telepathically or otherwise. But you see, my friends, it cannot be held here because the weight of frequency of this planetary being is far too dense to hold a 12-strand DNA for any length of time. However, that individual and unique human being has access to 12th dimensional information as they engage it and so choose to be intentional in it. So no, as a one collective, we would say, right now, you are engaging a 4th strand, a 4th dimensional strand of DNA genetic through the very integration process we spoke of earlier. Where you each are in that process is unique to you. The difference here, and we want to leave this one last message, is the 9th dimensional being that is human is now going to hold a 4th dimensional DNA genetic. Meaning they've stepped into that new dimension fully and will ground into it and hold it as a new reality. But they still have access to 9th dimensions of information and may so choose to communicate on that level at times. But the 9th dimension cannot be held consistently. Only the 4th, we would say.
12th dimensional Pleiadian Collective, please. Would you like to instruct the class in an ascension process?
We would be pleased, yes. So as a 1/12th dimensional race, we are here and very pleased to conduct this activation for you. And as we are accessing the energies of those in the room, we are feeling as if we are receiving these energies in order to balance them. As they are coming in, we are noticing that there is an incongruent balance between what we would call the 4th and the 7th dimensional realities in this room, in this moment. There are many light workers in this room, and we would say there are those beyond this room that are in a 7th dimensional range of their DNA genetic strand. Yet they are integrating a 4th dimensional reality. As such, we would say you have, in essence, also received a newer frequency through this alignment that is trying to engage not only your higher self, we would say, but the pineal is what's most important. And that is what we are going to focus on for this activation. As many of you are receiving information now that you are higher beings of light and you are accessing communication outside of your own reality, this is where we wish for you to understand that the pineal is a portal access to your multidimensional world. As such, there are some of you that are holding a resistant energy around the pineal that we want to bring to your attention. This resistant energy is not related to food and waters, as some of you may have been taught. This resistant energy of the pineal is related to past life karma. This past life karma is running a consistent thread amongst many of you who are engaged in this process right now. We want to explain to you that those who are 7th dimensional on the planet in this time often walked a path of ancient world, meaning there is a past life connection with many of the ancient energy portals as one who was connective to them and one who was creative of them. It would be difficult for us to, of course, bring forward this past life as it is very unique to each of your souls. But know that this ancient life is a part of your being that holds a genetic code. That genetic code is the part of you that is now wishing to come through and release the resistant energy around the pineal. The pineal, in essence, as you were born as an incarnate being upon this planet, was taken away from you. It was taken away from you through programming that society has placed within your energy body. The programming in itself is not important for us to reiterate, although we would say that it has been language-based. And it has been a part of your energy body since you were a very young child here. The ancients knew that the vibration of sound, which is congruent to language, was the portal access through the pineal that would allow you to tap into the gods and goddesses in the inner world as a connective force of nature. What we are going to focus on in this activation is we're going to ask all of you to connect to rhythmic breathing. And as you are doing that, we are going to have you focus first on the heart chakra. Your heart chakra is receiving a balance of energy in this very moment through 12th dimensional Pleiadian light. Know that that heart center is now opening very wide. And this is going to be the access point by which your healing is going to be engaged. As you are rhythmically breathing and allowing that heart chakra to open very wide, we're going to ask you to focus inner. As you are focusing inner, there's going to be a vision that is going to come to mind. This vision is going to be a symbol for you of this ancient past life. We're going to be silent for a moment because some of you may see this as a symbol in the mind's eye. Some of you may hear the ancient sound that is associated with this symbol. We're asking you not to judge. We're asking you not to question the process, to only accept what is given, whether it is a symbol, whether it is a sound, whether it is a color or a shape. In this symbol, there is a code for you, and that code is what we will be using to unlock the pineal gland and release resistant energies from past life karma. So for a moment, we are going to be silent and know that in these silent moments, you will be receiving energy through the 12th dimensional Pleiadian light, through the heart chakra, to assist in this process. Now, as you have received, we know that many of you are questioning whether the thought that came through was mental-based or heart-based. We ask that you understand that the heart was assisted in this process and that the mental body was not able to access that code. Only the heart was given it. This code for you is going to be a focal point for the coming week. What we are going to ask of you 7th dimensional light beings in the coming week is that you re-engage this rhythmic breathing and that you take this code that was given to you, place it in the area of the mind's eye, and know that it is there to do the work of releasing the past life ancient karma that you hold. Know that it is a symbol to you of the engagement and the integration of the third eye and the crown as one. This was very important in the ancient time, as the crown and the third eye were the symbols of ancient wisdom. Know that through the most recent integrative energies that have been given to you, you now have the ability to bring the manifestation of this integration as quickly as you choose. And by the end of this week, the mind's eye, or the pineal, is now going to be accepting of a new code, of a new language, which is universal in nature. And it is a part of who you are through that engagement of the higher self in the crown. And that you will be using it to your own fulfillment as you access new wisdom through this integrative process.
Thank you.